Hey, how's it going everyone? My name is Deathboy, and today I want to make a guide for the Legion raid Kakul Saydon in Lost Ark. I know there's plenty of guides out there on YouTube, however I want to make my own guide because it's been highly requested. There's been a few changes back in May of 2023, and another recent change in October of 2023 regarding the vertical progression of the raid. So I will try my best to go over all the changes, and I hope the guide is easy to understand. If you enjoyed the video, please be sure to give a like, comment, or subscribe to my YouTube channel. Speaking of subscribing, last month I was at 20 subscribers and now I'm at 500, which is a massive change in my opinion. So I really appreciate all the support everyone has given me. I really appreciate it. Without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into the video. Kakul Saydon can be entered at item level 1475 and there's only one difficulty, which is normal mode. This will be a 3-part video series with this video covering Gate 1. Kakul Saydon gives materials, which is required to get the level 2 set bonus. However, as of October 2023, you will no longer be required to do this raid for vertical progression. You can hold up to item level 1540 and do Triangle instead to go from level 1 to level 3 set bonus. Before you enter Gate 1, you want to bring the correct battle items. You will bring the following: Whirlwind Grenade, Panacea, and Sacred Charm. Whirlwind Grenade is used during 2 stagger mechanics in Gate 1. Panacea is used to cleanse a fire debuff that you may get throughout the fight, and Sacred Charm is used to cleanse other members of the fire debuff or to free them from being stunned or feared. If you have sufficient stagger in your party, a few members could replace Whirlwind Grenade with Dark Grenade to deal additional damage. If you feel like you do not need Panacea, you could bring Atropine instead to deal additional damage. As I do with my other guide videos, I will go over the major mechanics first. Then I will dive into some notable attack patterns and counterattacks. Let's start with the first major mechanic. At 130 HP lines or below, the boss will show a red orb beneath his feet. This will indicate that the Stagger Check is about to occur. The boss will show a stagger bar and a purple shield in front of him, behind him, or front and back. Do not perform skills on the shield, otherwise the damage will reflect back to you and most likely kill you. If the shield is in front, you will need to go behind the boss and stagger. Likewise, if the shield is on his back, you will need to go to the front. If the shield is front and back, you will need to stand on his side and perform stagger. Remember to use your Whirlwind Grenade if necessary. If the Stagger Check is not completed in time, it will be a raid wipe. When the boss is close to 130 HP lines, you should save your high stagger skills. At 110 HP lines or below, the map will darken and 4 clones of Kakul Saydon will appear top left, top right, bottom left, and bottom right. Every member needs to go to 1 clone. Where you go is determined by your party number. Take your party number, times it by 3, add 1, and that is where you will go if you pretend the map is a clock. Number 1 goes bottom right, number 2 goes bottom left, number 3 goes top left, and number 4 goes top right. The goal of this mechanic is simple. Ping your spot if your clone shows a heart. If your clone does not show a heart, do not ping. There will be large red balls that rotate around the clone. If you are hit by them, you will get knocked back and get a debuff which will greatly limit your vision. Stand close enough to the clone so that the red balls do not hit you. There are only 2 scenarios. Only 1 ping means look in the direction of that ping. 3 pings means look in the direction that was not pinged. You can look at your minimap to see if there's just 1 ping or 3 pings. At 85 HP lines or below, there will be a spotlight on the boss, then the curtains will roll down on your screen, then roll back up. Everyone will be turned into a clown. You will need to see what card is above your head, then go to the spot that matches your card. If you do not go to your correct spot, you will take continuous damage until you're at the correct spot. This mechanic is very simple. Think of it as Simon Says. If the boss is looking forward, showing a dance animation, you need to perform that same dance with the new abilities on your action bar. If the boss is looking away, showing a dance animation, perform any dance that the boss is not doing. The boss will do this 4 times total. If you mess up, you will take heavy damage. If you mess up multiple times, you may die. At 65 HP lines or below, the second Stagger Check will occur. This is the exact same as the 130 HP line mechanic I discussed earlier. As I said before, do not use abilities on the purple shield, otherwise the damage will reflect back and most likely kill you. If the purple shield is in front of him, you will stagger behind him. If the shield is behind, you will stagger in front of him. If the shield is front and back, you will stagger on his side. The side rail should be up at this point. Most groups decide to use Way, which does a lot of stagger and will complete the stagger check by itself. At 50 HP lines or below, the room will darken and the curtains will roll down on your screen, then roll back up. A large roulette will then appear in the middle of the map. The goal of this mechanic is to stand on a pizza slice that matches the card above your head. Your card may change every time the boss rotates the roulette and will do this 3 times in total. You must react quickly and go to the correct spot. Failure to do so will result in you taking damage and increased gauge. During this mechanic, fire rings may fly across the map. Simply avoid them by moving away. Getting hit by these fire rings will give you a damage over time debuff and increase your gauge. After the boss rotates the roulette 3 times, the roulette will start to shake and then explode. You need to move away to avoid damage. The last mechanic happens at 30 HP lines or below. This is the exact same mechanic as the 110 HP line I discussed earlier. The room will darken and you will need to go to your ×3 + 1 position. This is your party number ×3 + 1. A clone will spawn at the ×3 + 1 positions. You will only ping if your clone shows a heart. If there is 1 ping in total across all 4 members, you will look in the direction of that ping. If there are 3 pings in total, you will look in a direction that was not pinged. The correct clone will do a map-wide AoE attack. If you do not look at the correct clone, you will die. Now that we have went over all major mechanics, what I want to explain next is gauge management. Just like in Vicus Gate 2, you will have a gauge meter beneath your character. If this gauge is filled to red or close to red, you will notice 4 dots surrounding your character in an X pattern. After a few moments, these dots will shoot out as red lines from your character. If these red lines happen to hit a party member, the party member will get increased gauge with a red aura surrounding the member that was hit. If another member stands in this red aura, it will increase their gauge. If you see these red dots surrounding your character, move away from other party members so that they do not get hit by your red lines. If your gauge is full, you will turn into a clown and have access to 3 abilities: a bomb, a AoE ability, and a gift box. The bomb will decrease defense of the target you throw it at. The AoE ability will decrease the gauge of anyone near you, and the gift box will decrease the gauge of a single player. The goal is to never turn into a clown. However, if you do turn into a clown, keep these 3 abilities in mind. Just like in Vicus Gate 2, if you were to get hit by Kakul Saydon's normal attacks, your gauge will increase. Getting familiar with normal attacks will improve your gauge management. Each time a member turns into a clown, the boss will get a 3% defense buff that can stack. Now that we have discussed gauge management, let's go over some notable attack patterns and counterattacks. Breathing Fire Counter. The boss will hop on a ball and target a random player attempting to pursue the player while breathing fire. This attack does a lot of damage but can be countered if the boss is glowing blue. Flying Birds. The boss will stand still, remove his hat, then teleport away. He will then teleport behind a random player and spawn a bunch of birds in front of him that will eventually wrap behind him. If you are hit by these birds, you will get stunned. A party member can use Sacred Charm to free you, or a support can cleanse you. To avoid getting hit, stand on his side or stand in front of him after all the birds start to wrap behind him. Card Pizza. The boss will teleport to the middle of the map and show a platform with 4 separate card icons. Each spot will show a different card. You need to stand on a pizza slice that matches the card above your head. A failure to do so will result in damage and increased gauge. The boss may do this up to 2 times total. Slot Machine. The boss may sometimes spawn a clowned slot machine in a random place on the map. This slot machine can either drop a card ether, which will decrease the gauge of a player with the same card, or the slot machine can spawn a bomb, which you will need to move away from. If a card ether spawns and you walk up to it, even though it does not match your card, your gauge will increase. Bombardment. The boss will spawn a red circle then hop inside, making him disappear. A bunch of red circles will be shown on the map that you will need to move away from. If you step on these red circles, you will take damage and increase your gauge. After quite a few red circles have spawned, the boss will then target a random player with a large bomb noted by a large yellow circle with the outer yellow ring. Stand away from the telegraph or stand in between the yellow circle and the yellow ring. If you get hit by this yellow telegraph, you will take damage and increase your gauge. Kill the mobs. The boss will stand still and spawn a bunch of yellow circles on the ground. Standing in these yellow circles will increase your gauge. Mobs will also spawn that need to be killed as soon as possible. If the mobs linger around, they will eventually have a red aura surrounding them, which will increase your gauge if you stand near them. Breathing Fire. The boss will stand still for a brief moment, then quickly spin around and target a random player attempting to breathe fire. Fire circles will also spawn around the boss that shoot out fire. If you tank this fire, you will get a damage over time debuff and increase your gauge. Fire rings may also fly across the map during this attack. Try to dodge as best as you can. BBRR Attack. The boss will teleport to the middle holding a dice and throw it on the ground. 2 players with red cards should stand on the left side and 2 players with black cards should stand on the right side, or vice versa. The boss will attempt to trap 1 member or 3 members, then dish out cards. The goal is to guide these cards to the members that are trapped so that they can be freed. The only 2 scenarios is if 1 member is trapped or 3 members are trapped. I will explain both. If 3 members are trapped, the first card will always be the member that is not trapped. The second card will always be the member that shares the same color of the member that was not trapped. The third and fourth card will be cards of the other color. In this clip, I had a black card and I was not trapped, but 3 members were. So the first card was mine, which I took. The second card was a gun lancer who had a black card, and the third and fourth cards were red cards. If 1 member is trapped, the first 2 cards will be the opposite color of the imprisoned member. The third card will always be the imprisoned member, and the fourth card will always be the member that shares the same color of the imprisoned member. If a player takes an incorrect card, it will deal damage and increase gauge. If 3 incorrect cards are taken, it is generally a wipe. The Inanna Sadrio can be used here if your group is having difficulty with this attack. Keep in mind that you will not see this attack if the damage of the party is above average. Usually, a lobby full of properly geared 1500s or above will not see this attack if the damage uptime is good. Dashing counter. The boss will attempt to dash forward, knocking up players in front of him. This attack can be countered if the boss is glowing blue. Card Mayhem. The boss will start spinning rapidly, dishing out cards in random directions. Avoid these cards at all costs. If you are hit by these cards, you will get knocked back and increase gauge. Fear Attack. The boss will lunge forward and fire a pink beam at a random player. If you are hit by this beam, you will be feared for a few seconds. A member can use Sacred Charm or a support can cleanse you. Yellow circles and balls. The boss will stand still and shoot up a lot of bombs in the air that will land on a map noted by a yellow circle with outer yellow rings. These bombs may sometimes overlap each other. Supports should awaken during this attack because it can do a lot of damage. Getting hit by these yellow circles will increase your gauge. After the chaotic yellow circles, the boss will spawn a large ball that will split and keep getting smaller, then eventually disappear. Getting hit by these balls will do a lot of damage and increase your gauge, so try your best to dodge. And that will conclude my guide for Kakul Saydon Gate 1. I did not include all attack patterns for Gate 1, only the ones I thought were important. I will leave a link in the description below that includes additional attack patterns that I did not cover. If you enjoyed this video, please consider giving it a like or subscribe to my YouTube channel if you want to see more guides like this one. I will try to knock out Gate 2 and 3 of Kakul Saydon as soon as I can. With the recent upgrade to my audio equipment, I hope that you all notice a difference in how I sound based upon the prior videos I have made. If you want to see me live, check out my Twitch channel at twitch.tv/deathboy523. I live stream nearly every day and teach raids to viewers or Discord members. Just keep in mind that if you want me to teach you, you must be playing on NA East. With all that being said, I hope you have a wonderful time raiding a Lost Ark. Peace.